Hello, my friends. I want to share a simple concept that I use in the practice of cultivating my worldview, my map of reality, creating the habit of who I think I am, kind of the unconscious operating system that orients my thinking and my actions and behaviors, my unconscious responses. Um, so, the first and most important thing always is becoming conscious of that map that already exists that I'm operating by. Um, for two reasons. Number one, I think obviously you can't change it unless you know what's going on there. And number two, it's important to start from a place of knowing and realizing that what you see, what you think is out there is just a map. It's just an illusion. Like, there's a lot of peace and freedom that comes from disassociating from action of reality. See the activity of your mind, witness the experience of your inner experience as separate and an illusion. And so I always start with that in mind. And I was introduced to this, I think, probably around 2006 is when I really started to see it, and started with the work of Eckhart Tolle, and then leading to some study of Tibetan Buddhism and a meditation retreat I did in India. And still to this day, I really love I think it's a Tibetan Buddhist practice, Vipassana. Maybe it's just Buddhist in general, but Vipassana meditation. Vipassana meaning see and pull apart. And so the specific practice that I'm going to refer to, I think I learned it from Shinzen. Could be he got it from a different part of Zen Buddhism. But anyway, the specific Vipassana practice is while you're in your meditation, eyes closed, you're watching your breath, but then you start to notice the activity of your mind. And if you notice yourself seeing an internal image, because your eyes are closed, you say seeing, 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 and you go back to your breath. If you notice yourself hearing inner dialogue or even hearing sounds in the outside world through your ears, you note hearing, 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 and then you go back to your breath. And if you note yourself having some kind of kinesthetic experience, maybe the wind on your skin or a movement inside your body, your belly or something, you say in your mind, feeling, 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 and then you go back to your breath. And so what this does is it creates an awareness of your awareness. It creates an attention to your internal experience. And it also breaks that internal experience up into the different modalities of seeing, hearing, and feeling, and having a disassociation not only from the experience you're having within, but being able to break it up into its components creates a more nuanced experience of mindfulness and of your inner reality. But I think just that breaking it down into components actually just enhances the disassociation itself. So, having practiced that for many years and become quite acquainted with that as a practice, I noticed that the work of cultivating an experience of the world, that developing a map of reality that becomes my unconscious habitual way of operating, is actually, it works best by doing the reverse. By doing the reverse of pulling apart our inner experience. So the reverse would be to actually build up an inner experience, to cultivate an experience where seeing, feeling, and hearing are all kind of happening at the same time, to create inner activity. And so the phrase that I use to come up with this, instead of see, hear, feel, is speak, see, feel. So speak, see, feel is my process for cultivating an inner experience that rewrites the operating system of my worldview, or the habit of my thinking of who I am. We could call that identity. And so by speak, see, feel, speaking is the hearing component, right? But the output that produces the sound is our voice. So through speaking an idea of who I am mastery of energy over time. I am loving kindness. I am a patient and present father. By speaking that, I'm creating the audible aspect of an idea, of a concept. So I'm hearing that in my mind through my speaking. So I want to speak it not just in my mind, but aloud with my mouth, right? The actual vocalization is a big part of the experience of hearing, not just sub-vocalization, but actual vocalization. And then through my speaking, in this order, I want to see what I'm speaking about. So if I'm speaking the concept, I am a present and patient and kind father. I want to actually see myself as that. And so with a father concept, the context is quite obvious. I see myself with my sons. I see myself being patient. I see myself being present. I see myself being kind. And the seeing, along with the speaking, produces a feeling. If I can't feel it, then what I want to do is put more energy into my seeing. So how do I put more energy into my seeing? How do I see something more clearly? Well, I just mentioned the word context. The more context I apply to a concept, the more the more seeing, visual seeing that I can produce with it. And so if the context of father with son isn't enough, then I want to see, okay, what about a place? What about when I'm seeing myself with my son in the living room and the TV's on, or I have my iPhone in my hand, or he comes into the kitchen. Now I've got a situation as well as a person. The context has become more detailed, and so I'm seeing the concept of being present and patient with my son walking into the kitchen. Now the more elements I add to the context, the more I'm creating a visual experience of me in the concept. And so it's contextualizing a concept, like I am mastery of energy over time, is even more conceptual than I'm a loving and kind and present father. So I would need to do more work to contextualize that. So what do I mean I am mastery of energy over time? Well, what about in the ways that I relate to my food or my hunger or my diet? Okay, well, how am I mastery of energy over time in that context? Wow, all of a sudden I can start to think, well, if I'm mastery of energy over time with the realms of food, then I'm not eating sugar. I see myself making a choice to make some carrot juice or to eat something that's not high carb, right? I'm starting to see through context, the contextualization of a concept, I create visual imagery. So I won't go too much more deep into that right now. We could talk for an hour just about how to really create vivid experience, but I just want to get the point across that first I speak a concept, an idea. Money is liquid. It doesn't have to be about me. It can be about the creation of a worldview. Instead of money is object, money is liquid. And I conceptualize that by contextualizing it. Now I can see it. And if I speak something and I create a seeing of it, then I'll start to actually feel it. And the more I feel it while I'm seeing it, having spoken it, the more I'm actually inculcating a visceral internal experience into my actual map of reality. And slowly but surely, this very left brain work will start to create an update to the right brain, right? I will start to create a new map in my subconscious way of interacting with the world and relating to the world. And without having to think about it, I will spontaneously relate to the world where money is liquid. I will relate to my sons with kindness and patience, and I will find myself being more present with them. And there's just an update that goes on. And that experience that I have will remind me of the ideas, and it feeds back in, and it's an upward spiral. So speak, see, feel. Practice it. If you have questions, ask me. I'm happy to answer. If you'd like to learn more about things like this, then subscribe to my channel. Click the thumbs up, like button if you enjoyed this video. And if you want to get these videos summarized in really short text emails, I send them out a couple times a week. And you can get those, just go to the website and shoot me your email address. You can unsubscribe anytime, obviously. I'm not a spammer. You'll love the emails. I've been people that have been subscribed for like 10 years to get my emails and still reading them. So, and if you really want to dive into this stuff, then I would recommend you joining Creating School, where you can access the archive of classes in which I teach my clients in depth the creating perspective. And of course, if you want to be in conversation, I'd love that as well. There's a few ways we can work together. My name, if you don't already know, is John Patrick Morgan. Thank you so much for being here. I love you, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.